It is Monday. I have a hermit in my studio. Chris is a little under the weather. I swear he has been sick more this winter than anybody else I know. He just can't seem to kick it because he's burning the candle at both ends, I think. So he's been hanging out. It is another crazy week. I just dropped a bunch of art off at a, I guess for right now, secret location. Hopefully I'll be able to give you details soon. And I'm about to do my daily drawing. Elliot is already starving. I have no idea what we're going to have for dinner, so that needs to get worked out. And I am going to spend 15 minutes at least meditating, if not doing yoga tonight. That is my goal. I'm just doing goals one day at a time right now. Anyway, check out my daily drawing, and I hope you have a great week. It snowed again. Actually, it's still snowing. It's Tuesday. We are on our way out the door. It is going to be a full day. I'm going to try and get some sketching in while I am out of the house. And Chris has scraped off the cars and done some shoveling. Thanks, Chris! It is Thursday. We have a scout for a photo shoot we're going to be shooting on Saturday. It's out past Bloomington, which is where IU is. It's a couple hours from here. And we're going to hit a vegan restaurant that's in Bloomington called the Owlery, so I'm excited about that. Not sure if it'll be on the way there or the way back, depending on how much time we have. I'm hoping to spend a little time in my sketchbook and get my daily drawing done before we go. We need to grab lunch here. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock here. Sophie's excited because she's got an extra window time today since we have been home, and it's hopefully won't snow on our way. It's looking like snow in the forecast, but it's not snowing right now. I feel like winter is lasting forever, so it's both a crazy fast every day and a really slow season all at the same time. Not really sure how that's working. We're gonna hit a new sushi restaurant this weekend. Next week is Valentine's Day, so we have a special thing planned, and Elliot's birthday next week. So I feel like it's always crazy time. I hope you are having an awesome Thursday, and yeah, come along for the ride. My sketchbook is really just a place to play. I am kind of obsessed with succulents right now. I think because of the winter scene we have going on. There's just something about something that stays green and plump and awesome looking like all year round. This sketchbook has watercolor in it, acrylic paint in it, brush tip pen and ink, along with a little bit of writing and kind of just layers built up. I like the transparency that you can get from watercolor on acrylic paint. And sometimes you just need a place to just play with shape and color and texture and kind of layering materials and see what happens. So yeah, there's just kind of a bunch of different things in here. Somebody left a comment on one of my vlogs and asked if I could, instead of do a time lapse, do a real-time version of one of my pages, just to kind of slow things down. So I'm gonna do my daily drawing that way today. The prompt is circles, which is one of my very favorite shapes. I'm always a go-to circles kind of girl, so check it out. So I have laid out my supplies here, and like I said, today's prompt is circles. I have picked out some colors, both paint, thinking maybe I'm going to use a little bit of watercolor and a couple of different painted pages here to work with. And it's cool how like my book is already kind of getting fat right there. I'm only like a month and like 7 days in, so that's always fun to see start happening. Some clips. I'm still in a place where I have to clip down my pages just to kind of hold everything in place. And if you watch one of my previous videos, I use scissors and kind of put them through this hole to kind of hold the page down. It just makes it easier to kind of manage. And I have extra scissors if I need to cut shapes, which I'm gonna need to do. So I'm really liking this silver and pink. And circle can be kind of any kind of representation, so I like to sometimes cut out the negative shape, like this. You don't always have to use the positive shapes. This one. And this kind of has some circle shapes on it. This is butcher paper, so it's cool because when you glue it down, you can kind of also see through it. So just because I cut 4 shapes doesn't mean I have to use them all. I just like to have options to kind of start with. I'm gonna put down a little bit of color to start with as well. This cobalt violet. My brush is slightly damp. I'm going for kind of like a scratchy dry brush look. Just to lay down a little foundation of color. I like to do that because it's nice to just not start with a blank page. It gives you something to work from. Just kind of playing with how I might want to lay the shapes down. You can see there the butcher paper, the way it is so thin, you can build the shape under the shape. Keep that line there. So I don't think I'm using these two. Put those to the side. Using some gesso as a white color. And I want to kind of define this shape in here. I'm gonna cover it with some white kind of a watered down thin layer of it though. I don't want to completely block in white. I want you to be able to see this shape and a little bit of that purple through it. These Faber-Castell Pitt pens are cool because if you use them and then you let them dry, they become permanent. But if you layer them down and then get them wet immediately, you can blend them. And it's almost like putting kind of a dark edge. Chris is getting a phone call. Use a little, this Artist Metallics lasso, I think it's French. This is King's Gold. It's a really rich and like really dense gold color. And I like to use it, you can see how like kind of buttery it is. I like to use it as a dry brush as well and kind of block in a little metallic. It just really stands up really well. And it is an acrylic, so you can mix it with water and kind of thin it out, but I really like it, how it goes on thick. And you can see like as I'm using dry brush on top and then some water and more dry brush, it starts to build almost this textural layer and this textural look. So I'm gonna use just a graphite pencil and kind of go in and do some like circly shapes, since again, the prompt today is circles. And this is just kind of like building in circle textures. Subtle ones. I'm kind of drawn to this teal today. So when you're thinking about circles or work like different varying sizes, shapes, textures, even though these are dots, they are still circles. So building in a color that doesn't exist in my piece and kind of bringing it in intentionally through these shapes patterned throughout. And I feel like I need a little more white. I want to get some contrast in here. So I'm using a brush that I didn't quite clean off from that teal color, which will just give it like a tint. But I'm just gonna kind of go in here and painterly, meaning like not smooth it out completely, but just kind of add some painterly dimension. An accent this original circle shape and give some contrast. Be highlight this pencil circle that you really can't see, it's just kind of barely there. I'm going to use this India ink. This is from Japan. It's a brush tip pen. Kind of go in and accent some of these pencil circles. Again, adding a little contrast, the black and white. So here's my finished page. You can see all the layers built up, really focused around this central circle shape, but with other kind of layered and textural circles in there as well. We are on the road and on our way to Bloomington. We are going to hit the Owlery for lunch. That's our goal. And depending on time and traffic on the way there, we might hit the art store there, which is local. It's called Pygmalion's, which is kind of a weird name for an art store. But they have some neat stuff every once in a while, some kind of different than you can get off the internet. Brushes or pens or paper or whatever. So yeah, on the road. Here at Pygmalion's, and we're gonna go check it out and see what they have going on in there. Maybe get a pen or something. I'm sure we'll always find something in an art store. Bloomington is a little cold, but good food. Hit the art store, hit a comic book store, and walking to get some coffee. Got to get to my shoot here in a little bit, but taking the time to chill for a few is always good. It is Friday again. We are gonna go check out the new sushi restaurant. They have a bunch of vegan options. Super excited about that. Apparently also vegan dessert, because how can you have a Friday night dinner without dessert? We are also going to possibly hit the Post-it note show downtown. We'll see how we're feeling after dinner. We have Elliot this weekend, and I'm sure he's been kind of playing video games and hanging out today, so maybe we can talk him into going down there. It should be an awesome weekend, trying to get some art in, some personal projects, and I have some other deadlines I need to hit. So yay for Friday. Today's page is stipple as the mark, and I made a bunch of varying sizes of dots with a little #1 paintbrush, and then also used some acrylic, some hot pink paint by Golden, some yellow, and some Payne's Gray. I love to mix cools like blues and greens with warms like oranges and reds and that hot pink. I think there's a fun color play that happens. So we go in here?
Yeah. This is the door.
We're at the tube factory. It is Saturday morning, way too early for a Saturday. We are on our way back to Bloomington for the actual shoot. The last trip was for scouting. Hopefully we'll be able to grab a bite to eat, and definitely want to get some time in the studio today. Had a little time this morning just to gather some things that I need to pop onto Instagram, but there's never enough studio time. The shoot went really well. Everybody did a great job and it looked fantastic. Plus, while we were there, I got a little sketchbook time with some of the flowers that we used as props in the background. Taking a break today, hanging out on the couch with some coffee, sketchbook, and watching a show on national parks, trying to plan where we might go for our first Airstream trip. I feel like sometimes we get caught up in all the have-to-dos that we forget about taking care of ourselves. So that is what I'm doing today. Hanging out on the couch. I want to sketch. I want to spend a little bit of time in the studio. I do have to do laundry, so I have clothes next week. But there's an ice storm out there, so I'm not able to leave the house, and maybe that's a good thing this week. I hope you have an awesome Sunday and a fabulous next week.